Hey, cool. So hi everyone, my name is Yun, and like Tom said, I'm an assistant professor at the UAS, Department of Environmental Studies. So today what I'm going to present is on environmental monitoring using Unmanned Aerial System, UAS, or commonly known as drone, and artificial intelligence method. So first, very quickly, objectives. These are in the abstract, but very quickly to mention them. We want to build method that integrate UAS and AI in environmental monitoring applications, and we also want to automate the process, right? We want to build an automatic data pipeline solution for that. And specifically, what we are trying to propose doing is to apply and calibrate such technique in the Emiquon Preserve in the hope to identify invasive species of the area and also wildlife and their habitats. So why do we use UAS, right? So traditionally, we've been using satellite imagery as the way to monitor environment. But comparing to that, UAS imagery or UAS technology has its own advantages, right? It has increased the spatial resolution, and also it can give us much detailed information of the Earth's surface. And also it has increased the temporal resolution. So we could fly whenever we want, when the weather permits. And we don't have to wait until, say, 2 weeks until the satellite revisit or come back. So one thing is that it also will suitable only for local studies. So if the areas you're interested in only stretches from a couple miles, and that is very manageable. But if it is more than that, it would be a bit difficult using UAS. So when we are using UAS to collect data, it is really a process involving multiple steps. It is more complicated than just taking your drone out and take a few images. As you could see over here from this draft, it have from mission planning all the way to data capture and processing, and then to get the final data products, the deliverables. So over here, I'm going to show you just some quick examples, I guess. So the first is a flight. Okay, so over here, what I do want to mention is that even though it is a multiple step process, the technology, both the hardware and the software of doing this actually is already there. So it is actually not as, there has actually been big technology breakthrough. So the whole thing, the whole process is actually quite manageable. So over here, just a quick example. So mission planning. So you could actually do this by using an app. So over here, usually the study area will need to be covered by, well, multiple images, well, a few dozens. So you could actually draw a rectangle, like say that's my study area, and the app will automatically figure out the flight path and at where it needs to take an image. So you will have a representation of the whole area, right? So over here on this area, I took 55 images in total. And then after you do the flight planning and you capture the data, you bring it back to process, and some final deliverables will be also Mosaic, and also which is individual images stitched together. So you have a seamless representation of the whole study area. And also you could derive a DSM or digital surface model that is generated from structured motion, and that depicts the elevation or the third dimension 3D data. So once again, that is an example. So you can see from the 55 images taken together after some data processing, we have this whole also Mosaic, which is stitched together. And also it has correct geography. So if you have other geospatial data, it could readily be imported into GIS, and they will overlay perfectly fine. And this is a DSM and elevation data. So you could see it actually, so the warmer tones, they are higher elevation, cooler tone, they are lower elevation. So you could see how it captures all the tree canopy and also the buildings, right? So, but this is not from LiDAR, right? This is just from overlaying images derived from the structural motion technology. But as land managers or as scientists, usually what we are interested in is not only the image, the data, right? What we want is some information we could readily use, right? So for example, in this case, I might be interested in how many areas are covered by the trees, or how many trees are in there. Or for example, in this image, what I want is, well, how many birds are in there? Obviously, I could have someone go here and count them by hand, but that is going to be quite tedious, especially considering UAS is capable of generating a huge amount of data. and it's going to probably be error prone. So that is where computer vision kicks in, right? So basically the idea of computer vision is that we could train the computer many times, so it will recognize and do classification for us automatically, right? So over here, what we can do is that we could tell the computer to drag those rectangles, say, okay, a bird could look like this, and it could be look like this, it could be look like this. We do this like 1,000 times, and then the computer will have a pretty good idea of what a bird look like. The next time we feed it an image, it will automatically pick out all the images and telling us how many birds are in there and where they are. So that is the information we can use. And also what we want to push to in terms of direction is that obviously this is only counting the birds, but we also wanted to maybe further like have the computer to be able to separate the different species. So obviously you could tell from this UAS image, there are some visual cues that's telling us this and this and this and this, they are different species. So hopefully by training the computers, providing the computers with enough samples, we will be able to achieve that, to not only counting how many birds are in there, but also to separate them by species based on the visual cues. Okay, so that's my talk, and I'll be happy to answer any questions if you have.
Thank you, Yoon. Time does fly by in the talks like this. Did we have any questions, Doug? Came in there? Just about.
One, do you anticipate there'll be more liberalization of the flight restrictions on these drones in the future? For example, the 400 feet of height and the range line of sight?
Right, so it's governed by the Part 107. So you do have to get remote pilot certificate, which I do have. So I think the general provision is going to pretty much stay the same. But if you want some variance, right? If you want to fly more than 400 feet, or if you want to fly to a sort of a restricted area, you could apply for a permit. So that will be a case by case thing. There are ways, but I think the general provision, like you mentioned, I don't think that is probably going to change in the near future.